Yenisbel Hernandez here with ABA Exam Academy. This is one of my favorite Zooms to do because today we're gonna interview one of our dearest friends, one of our students. Her name is Aisha, and she's basically gonna tell us what did she do to pass the BCBA exam. And obviously, we are going to celebrate it. But before we go and do that, I just want to go ahead and tell you, whoever doesn't know us from in YouTube, to let you know who we are. We're basically a company called the ABA Exam Academy, and our goal, our mission is to help you ace the test, just like Aisha did. And our services are, right now, we give courses, we give personalized tutoring sessions, and we also have a free YouTube videos in YouTube, basically, that you can go and search it out with concepts and things like that. And you can go to our website, www.abaexamacademy.com, and go shop and shop and shop and look at our services. But now, let's celebrate! Aisha!
You did it, Aisha!
Aisha! She's not BCBA. I need to learn how to rap properly.
You do a better job than me.
Okay, can you please introduce yourself with your official name? You're no longer Aisha. Now you have a bunch of cute letters afterwards. Ready, set, go!
My name is Aisha Mati. I am a BCBA.
Woo!
Wait, I came prepared, guys. I am very much celebrating. How does it look? Woo-hoo! Shake your head. So Aisha was kind enough to dedicate her time tonight. Guys, we are recording. Yes, we are. So she dedicated her time tonight to talk to us a little bit about how she passed the test. I just want to remind you, in my ABA Exam Academy, one of the main 3 things that we've been looking at from taking data from different students that have taken the test and they have passed the test, that we don't just need to collect knowledge and understand the knowledge. We also need to learn how to we need to learn test taking skills. And we also need to learn how to answer those questions in the using test taking skills and also doing it in the center. So in the test taking center. So those are the 3 main areas, Aisha, that I wanted to divide or organize our interview with, just to keep it organized. But from there, you can just move around it as much as however you want it. Feel free. It is your time to shine. Like I always say in my YouTube videos, show off, my friend, show off. So my first question to you, how do you feel?
I feel pumped.
Yeah!
Let's do this.
So how many times did you have to take the test? A lot of people take it a lot of times, other people only take it once. The majority I've seen it's taken more than 1 time.
Yeah, I had to take it 3 times. That was my 3rd time, was my last time.
Okay. And 3 is, I think sometimes is the average that we have seen, right, Damie?
Yeah, 3 to 4.
3 to 4. Which tells us this test, guys, if you're new to our videos in YouTube, this is why we do it. This is why Damie and I dedicate a lot of time training you, because this test is tough.
Yeah.
And that's why she's gonna talk to us about it. So how long do you study for, would you say, in total?
You know, the first time do you want me to go in detail now or maybe later of how
just in general, tell me how long do you think, like year or so, how long did you study for in total?
Yeah, I think the total would be 6 months to 12 months in a way.
Okay, and within
on and off?
Go ahead, David.
Okay.
And within that 12 months, you took the test 3 times. Is that what we're saying?
Yes.
Okay. So in average, a year.
Yeah.
And how many hours for example, now that you passed, how many, in average, how many hours do you dedicate per studying, for example, the last month or the last?
So I would say when the time came closer, I would like put more time into it, but I would start somewhere an hour to 2 hours a day. I would study. Like at first, I was like a little underestimating how difficult the exam was, or it wasn't like that. I was just trying to kind of get desensitized, as you would say, with the exam. But slowly, when the time would come closer, I would put like almost 3 to 5 hours a day, like maybe 2 weeks prior to the exam.
That's a good question. So can we say like before the exam, like two months before the exam, you were studying in average two hours per day?
Yeah.
And then 2 weeks before the exam, you were studying 5 to 4, depending?
Yes.
That's a good average. That's good data for everybody out there,
Yeah.
for us here. So, and this is a key question that I added today. How many 160 question mock tests did you take? Like in this one that you aced, that you passed? Or overall, to help you guide you?
How many questions did I take?
Like,
How many full mocks?
like the full mocks.
I probably 4.
4?
Yeah.
So you took 4 within the 12 months or just within the last test?
The last test. I did it for the previous as well, but mostly the last test.
So 4 in the last test. And before I forget, so for the last test, you probably study much more intensive. How long were you studying for that last test?
Well, the pandemic hit. I kind of, good and bad, but it also gave me time to study more and focus more on it. But I would study for the last, when it got canceled 2 times. I was supposed to test in March, then it got pushed in April and then in May. But I was like still prepared, but I was like, okay, what else can I do? And I was like, keep trying to take mock, because that was where I understood the material. I just needed to apply it and see it and desensitize myself with the kind of questions that they had. So I would study for for the last month or 2 months. I started studying from February, and then like I said, it was supposed to happen in March, and then it was supposed to happen in April, and then it was supposed to happen in May.
I know, so annoying.
So I've been studying. So I've been studying for about 2.5 months.
Okay.
Intensively. Right?
Intensively, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you already had your background, your information, like your foundation throughout, because in total it was 12, which is a good amount. So how about with us? How long have you been with us? Like, how long have you known about ABA Exam Academy?
So when my first time when I was taking the exam, I started watching all and every videos that you guys have on YouTube. Because I truly, there's so much stuff out there. I had no idea like how to go about studying. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of us that like, where do we start?
Right.
Which is not. And after you're in it, and then you're like, okay, now I know what to do. But it's like, at first I found you guys and I was like, okay, this is my calling. I'm just gonna go watch the videos. But the problem is that you guys' videos were really, really helpful. But there was like, you still have to have like the whole task list in front of you to know, okay, so they're covering from here to here. Okay, now this part I have to do myself. And I was just like so oblivious. I just was like, okay, everything I need to know is gonna be in this videos. I mean, like I said, there was a lot of helpful videos. Like I went back in times, like when you guys first started the YouTube videos, and it was just so helpful. But that's where basically my foundation started, my studying started. I want to say like a year ago, I started with starting with ABA Exam Academy. That was my first go-to place when I started studying. And then I started building up on it. I'm like, okay, I need to do more. I need to do more and stuff like that.
Awesome. Thank you. It's making me blush. Yay.
I know. I saw all of you, or most of you, like as the video was going on. Like Yenny, you were teaching at first, and then you came on, and you're like, "I passed." I was like, I was so happy for you, and I was like clapping. But I know that was like a long time ago, but still, I was like, "Yay!" And yeah, so it was like one after another. You guys were, sharing those experiences, and I was like, wow, that's so awesome. I felt a part of the family, even though that was like 2 years ago or something. I was like, still,
I know.
I felt it.
But that's why we keep doing these interviews, because we struggle to study and study and study, and then we take mock tests, and then people fail on the mock test, and then it's stressful. But when we pass, we need to celebrate it. If you pass, I feel like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, like a little kid with a new toy. Yes, we have to celebrate it, because we praise. I know getting this certification, it's a very good reinforcement. But your community needs to be happy about it. It's great. So that's why I'm so excited that you're here. I can't express it in words. So thank you so much for being here. So now let's go more into details, in the sense that describe to us one of your typical study day, like one day that you said, okay, this one was a productive day, or this is the type of studying that I did, the style.
I would say so. Like when I started, like the second time around, I made one of a big purchase. That was before you guys were offering classes. That was in BAS. I think it's behavioral analysis
supervisor.
Thank you. And I bought their whole bundle, which has videos, mini mocks, and big mocks, full mocks, and all of it. So my productive day would be, I would go through the videos, and first through them, and then I would, if there was something else that I needed to do, like I didn't understand or he wouldn't go in detail, then I would, like, for example, go to YouTube, watch you guys going a lot of details in it. And then I would actually use the free mock that another Facebook group has it, and I would test my knowledge, and then I would apply it by taking Boss's mini mock to see how well I did. Because that would be my productive day. Each section I would go into videos, and if I understood it, then great. But if I didn't, I would go in more details and either watch YouTube videos or somebody else, or you guys' free Zooms, and then take a mini mock on the section, and that would be my day until I, could finish all of the sections, and then I would take full mock. But each day would be like that.
I have a quick question for you. When you studied a concept, did you focus on it like one concept per day or one concept per week? How did you focus on the concept?
For a task list.
Yeah, so when I first was studying, like my first purchase, then I would be like half a task list. But towards the end, like I knew the material, I didn't need to spend too much time on it. Like I said, I wanted to get used to the mock questions. Then I would do the whole task list, and if there was any section that I didn't understand or even didn't do so well in the task list itself, then I would like spend more time on it. But I would do a whole task list. If it's not like D, that would probably take 2 days. But I would do normally a whole task list, and then I would do then I would test myself whether I knew the stuff. And I also, obviously, you guys know, would make mock questions on it.
Right.
And I wanted to point out something, just in case people didn't see the pattern. What the pattern that I see what you're saying, and correct me if I'm wrong, is you study, you gain the knowledge, and then you test it.
Yeah.
And you created your own mock questions. So basically, you get the knowledge, you generalize that knowledge, and then you generalize it even more by creating your own mock questions, which you posted in our group. And a lot of people like to answer those mock questions. Mm-hmm. And I noticed that at the end, you also took some of our courses.
Yes.
So how did those like sort of help you?
So like I said, there was some of the task lists that, like, I believe I attended your J, A, and H, and your
B,
task.
did you go to?
Oh yeah, yeah, B as well. Everyone, like before my exam, anyone you offer, I'm like, I'm in it.
She went to guys.
I mean, you guys came up with a wonderful schedule now, but at that time, you guys were still working, building it on. So it would come every other week or every 3 weeks, whenever you guys had, whenever you guys made it.
And you were there.
I was definitely. As it's not just, I wanted to test it again. The more mock I could answer, the better. And also the more different ways to learn it, the better. And if I could answer your questions, that's me, applying it. That also helps. So I was like, yeah, I'm definitely going to be there. And especially with this group, like I said, I've been there from my beginning studying time. I was with you guys. So I was like, all right, trust you guys. I'm gonna go with you guys.
And I wanted to point out a couple of key things that I think that you did that worked, that was really good, is that you were not a passive learner. You were very much active. So that means that if you, for example, usually at my classes and even on the YouTube videos, Demi and I always try to ask questions to just get you guys participating and get your morals running, and you will always answer. And that's key. We have to like lose our, how do you say, shyness, and just be out there and answer. And a lot of the good thing that you did when you were taking our courses is that you ask questions.
Yes.
And I think that asking questions is key, because you get that extra knowledge that we can give you, but you also make us better teachers, because we give one example, but then you ask a question and we have to come up with another example, and then other people learn from you and from me and from Demi. So I think that is a key thing that you did that helped you a lot. Do you agree with me?
Yes, definitely. I think if you can talk it and apply it and teach it in a way,
That's right.
you can definitely test it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I 100% agree. So just for those of you, since we're in the topic now, I put the schedule here, and now our next course is going to be on G, task list G, and then we're on June 24th, we're gonna do A and H, and then B and J, and you're just gonna follow the schedule along. And the way we do it is we do a course per task list, let's say task list G, and then we break down each section of the task list, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so on and so forth. And we make sure to know and have 1 to 2 mock questions per task list, and we send you per number, and then we send you the test, to the mock test, to help you out. And then we break down those questions in the actual instruction time, which helps you guys a lot, because you get to answer questions and ask questions and all those type of things.
Yeah, I greatly appreciated it. I mean, you guys went above and beyond in those classes and went on each section of the task list, even if the task list was huge. And you guys stayed even time after, when like I had thousands of questions, you still stayed after the 2 hours. You guys were awesome. And the supplement was helpful. Even if I couldn't retain it at the moment, I went back and I would look at it. Like for J, those 7 generalized conditions, those were like hard to remember, and I was trying to make questions and answer questions with my small group, and I would constantly go to that supplement and check what you guys said. So those are really, really helpful. Greatly appreciated.
You're welcome. Yeah, I think that supplement study guide it's a key thing, because it's hard to grasp in 2 hours so much information.
Oh yeah.
You mentioned something important. You said that you had a small group. How often would you meet with them?
The small group, we started late, but we started it, and like I said, the pandemic made everybody stay at home, and that was the reason we were able to meet every day, basically.
Wow, that's wonderful.
Yeah, to be honest, there was a lot of great limitedness and that I only had 2 people because it just gets overwhelming and maybe a little hard to keep up and kind of hard to let yourself free because obviously you're learning, you're going to make mistakes. So it's hard to, for you to be okay. Like, should I say this? What if it's wrong? What if they start judging me? That kind of thing is part of it. But I had a small group, just 2 people, and we just bounce things off of each other, taught each other. And if we made a mistake, that's fine. We were okay with it. We laughed and we had a lot of fun. We constantly communicated through our small group chat, but we met like through Zoom or something like once, sometimes even twice a day. But it was just like when we were free.
And you would, I think I heard you say that you would create more questions and you would discuss it with each other, right? And
Yeah.
I think that's fantastic.
Yeah. We would teach each other. We would just like, okay, hey, I came across this. What does this mean? Okay, it means this and blah, blah. So we just like discussion, live discussion going on. And like I said, the smaller group made it easier for us to be able to feel comfortable with each other, making mistakes, saying whatever we feel or, however we think. And then we will always back up what we found or stuff like that.
Perfect. I'm happy you were able to get a group. Some people think that it's not possible, but I think if you keep at it, keep asking, you're gonna find a group that fits with your studying, the way you study, plus your schedule. Another question. I know we cover a lot, so this is sort of like whatever you think you haven't covered, just add it here, or just say it again if you think it's necessary. So which were like the top 3 resources or study tips you use to gain knowledge? For example, the book, or we already mentioned the courses, right? The courses that you took here. And did you have a preferred book or something that you would recommend people to have?
I'm kind of embarrassed to say this, but I actually did not read the Cooper book because I am not a native English speaker, as maybe you guys can relate. It is so hard for me to keep up with the reading. Like I can speak and I can be like all comfortable and keep up with that because we're talking back and forth. But reading is just like I am just listening to one person talk in such a loud vocabulary in a sense. So it's hard for me to read. But my main resources, first of all, was you guys' courses. I mean, it started out towards the end of my studying, but it was grateful because I was like, if I was missing in mini mocks, I was like, okay, I need help in this section. What else can I do? And your classes was to the rescue kind of for me. And so, yeah, your classes, the YouTube channel was amazing, but the one thing that I obviously paid for, so I had to use it in a sense. But BAS was my main resource, my second main resource. I did purchase another app. It was more like fluency, more than like the real mock question, if I want to say. It was like, do you know this? Do you know this? Do you know this? It was like ABA Wizard. I have both of them. But it was like basically, because sometimes when you take the same mock or the same quiz multiple times, you're trying to reach it 100%, you already kind of memorize the answer. So I was trying to test my knowledge by using a different app or a different fluency app that could help me apply it. So I was just not trying to memorize and do it that way. I wanted to be able to do it because I know it in a sense. So
right.
Yeah, I attended a lot of the free Zooms. Whomever offered it, I was there. Because like I said, the pandemic, unfortunately, is a bad thing, but the one thing that gave us is a lot of free time. And I was just like, wherever they were offering free Zoom, I was there.
You bring up a good point for those of us who struggle who struggle reading the actual book and material. Don't get frustrated with that. Get resources like YouTube and audiobooks and all those type of things to change it around, and groups. One last thing here is to have like the 3 strategies or things that you use, if you needed to use them, to get used to the testing conditions. Which one do you need? You have issues with your previous test with testing conditions, or you didn't?
Well, the one new thing that they added, as we all know, is the mask. That was difficult to be able to have it on constantly. Because, you know, you get, I mean, even though I took it 3 times, you still get nervous, you know, you get nervous, and which means you need more oxygen in your body, and you can't do that because there's a mask on you. So it's all kind of weird feeling. But luckily for me, obviously I wear a scarf. When I sat down, I kind of took it off and I put my scarf on because it was breathable. But that is something I think we should do, like program generalized. We need to practice with that on, because it's hard to breathe through it. And
It's such a long period of time, 4 hours, you know.
We are recommending people to take the mock test with the mask on.
I completely agree. I think that's a good advice to take a mock with it. And I've applied this through all of my exam. I would sit and you know, the flagging, obviously at the beginning first and second time was a lot more, because I was like, didn't know as much as I do now. Still don't know as much, but still, you know, good enough to pass the exam, I guess. So I flag as much as I needed to, and then but I still finished my exam like 160 question, and then I would take a break to come back like a freshly minded whatever, and sit down for the to review the.
So how much did it take you to finish the actual test?
So I would finish the test without reviewing the mock about 2.5 to 3 hours. Okay. But then I never came out earlier until the last time, because I was like, you know what, I'm done. But the first 2 times I was just like, I reviewed it and I stayed there till the last minute, because I was like, I'm giving this time. I don't think, like I said, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. You took 2 hours or 3 hours, pass. That's what is all worth it. But I gave myself as much time. I reviewed as much as I possibly could. And the one thing that I didn't do, I mean, the last time or this time, is I obviously didn't flag as much because I knew material, and I did, you know how sometimes people like flag it, it's like, okay, I'm going to come back to it. I would give the time that the question deserves before I move on. So I'm like, okay, why do I want to come back to it if I can just answer it right now, if I know this? And if I was like, okay, I know this much and I'm going to answer this question, but let's see if there's anything else that comes later on, and then that would be the reason why I would flag it mostly. But at the end of it, when I was reviewing everything, I changed 2 of my answers out of however many I flagged. I don't know if that was the, you know.
I did the similar strategy.
Yeah.
Strategy. Yeah.
Yeah, just, you know, like, because when you go over it, then you question, and then more things comes up and you overthink it, and it's just like, you know what, though it's freshly in my mind, I saw it, I remember the material that it relates with, and I answered it, and I'm good. And yeah, so like I said, I changed 2 answers, but I'm not sure if I changed them to correct or wrong, you know, because they don't tell you that. But that was something that was soothing for me.
I think you did a lot of good things to obviously pass the test. So one last question, because what do you think you did differently this time that you had not done before? I know that obviously the material that you learn sort of piles on, right? So you obviously know more now than you used to do before, because you continue to study. But do you think you did something drastically different? Like,
yes. I mean, one of the big change that I did was to make the mock question. I mean, when you guys were first offering the class a long time ago, the one with the small group that you guys used to offer, I mean, that was amazing, and you guys pushed us to make mock question, and I was like, I can't think like that. I don't know how to make mock. I mean, I remember.
You learned it. We taught it, and now you learned it.
You guys stop. Please don't make me do it. I don't know how to do it. I was just so bad at it. And then
on Facebook, you were putting them daily. Every day you were putting questions, and I was very impressed.
I just started making them, like, as I was studying them, I was like, okay, what will go with this? How can I test myself? And how can I, and like, I started making them. I was like, hey, that would be helpful to share with others. Maybe you'll help other people to learn. And then I started sharing whatever I had and I used to test myself. And obviously, a lot of people are very grateful, but it helped me, and then it was like an open discussion. A lot of people would start talking. I was like, okay, this is the mindset.
I'm gonna say that it's like your own mini group because you pose your question, and let's say that you made a mistake. Somebody's gonna give you feedback and it's gonna correct your mistake, and that's the beauty of it. Doesn't matter. You haven't. I'm not saying that you're always right, but what I'm saying is that that's the way we learn from getting people's feedback.
Yes,
Absolutely.
definitely.
I'm so happy.
That was one of the things that I did drastic different. And the other one was the very small group that I had. I feel like I was a part of a bigger group, but like I said, it just got overwhelming for me because I don't think it's just me, but it's, I'm just I'm not shy, but I'm scared. Obviously, all of us are scared of making mistakes and being judged. But it was, it was a big factor of me joining groups because I was like, okay, can I do this? Would I get all of those feelings? And then when I got the small group, a lot of people were reaching out because of my question. They thought I knew more. I was like, I just so much. But they wanted to make group, and then two of which just stick, and we kept meeting and kept pushing, and and they're testing soon, so fingers crossed. But I'm still in touch with them. I still sit with them. They still run things with each other, and we still talk and stuff like that because we were gonna stick till the end of all of us and not give up on the other teammate. But we just had three of us, and we were just with so much time in our hand, we were just constantly meeting and talking and teaching, and that was a drastic change for me. And it was very, very helpful because
you basically did ABA. You generalized the information that you took and you generalized it to the people you were talking and to the more questions, and it's fantastic. I am so proud of you.
Thank you.
I feel like mama bears.
You guys were great help, and really appreciative of as many. I mean, I cannot recommend your classes any higher than I already am. It's just very,
and we appreciate you. You're a wonderful student, an active participant.
Yes, you were a good student. You follow the guidelines that we gave you. I keep telling people, do mock questions, and I feel their eyes staring at me like they're like, Jenny, stop it.
Do it.
I was like that first too. Like when you guys were doing it in the class, I was like, I don't know how to do that. Can I just answer other people's mock? Because I'm good at that. I don't know how to make my own.
Oh my God.
It was just miracle happened. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try
it. Yes, you did it. You did it, and it helped you.
Yes, greatly.
So awesome. Thank you so much, Aisha. I appreciate it. It was just wonderful talking to you.
Thank you for having me.
Hope the best for you in your future endeavors. Can you please close the meeting with your full name again? Because I love to hear it.
Thank you for having me. My name is Aisha Makti. I am a BCBA.
Thank you so much, Aisha, for sharing your time with us.
Of course.
I appreciate it. Have a good night.
Bye.